broadcast live.
Hey, what's up? I'm sitting here with DJ C Live. Shit, this is actually such a full circle moment, man. Like,
Can we swear? Can we say shit?
it's a hip hop platform.
Fuck.
How do you feel?
Fuck.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Man, you know what I mean? I started with this guy like freaking 2011. I didn't really start with you, but you know the hustle.
Precious, look, you've come a long way, man. I'm totally proud of you. But anyway, it's not about you, it's about me.
Oh. Look, so I wanted to speak to you because you plugged into the DJ sphere, you plugged into the radio sphere and the TV sphere. Yeah. I mean, first of all, how were you able to make those transitions? Because you usually find people who are in the music sphere always go deeper into production and other things, but you managed to have an all-round, platform.
Look, I'm an all-rounder, man. I mean, from let's talk about hip-hop. I started as a rapper, went on to become a graffiti artist, then a b-boy, then a DJ, That is all the elements of hip-hop, you know what I'm saying? And most people don't know. There's 4 elements of hip-hop, so we'll school you a little bit. Same as what I'm doing now. I did radio because they fit in with what I do within entertainment. And then thereafter, I did after for a year. And then I didn't want to do TV. I was like, nah. And then somehow I just happened to end up on TV. I'm like, I like this. I kind of like this. I honestly do not know what's next. But I think for me, it's going deeper into the corporate sphere now. It's going to be much more interesting for me. And knowing that you've got somebody who's into hip hop within that field of work, it makes life easier. Next thing we'll be signing checks for the next Casper.
I love that kind of thinking, man. How do you keep that thought? How do you keep that train of thought? Having been, we could say, the star. You've rapped, you've danced, you've been in the spotlight. How do you think people can maintain that kind of thought way? Because I get the vision, right? But it's also a selfless thing to say, you know what, I will put myself down to champion for this in the corporate. How do you keep that vision alive?
Man, I think it's the. I come from the old school where you want to see others move forward. You want to pass the baton on to the next person, and it becomes a selfless thing. The state of hip hop now, to large, I wouldn't even say there's hip hop anymore. The culture is hardly there. But there's rap and there's DJs. DJs want to be superstars. Rappers want to be superstars without acknowledging the culture. The one element of the culture is self knowledge of self. And once you acknowledge yourself, you start acknowledging everybody else. So I don't mind walking up to the next DJ saying, "Yo, dude, you're doing so well." Something that is so rare nowadays, where because I want to be so much of a superstar, I cannot acknowledge another DJ. It's like, yo, because he's competing with me. Like, are you not that good enough for you to acknowledge another person's talent? And when you acknowledge another person's talent, you make the whole culture grow. You hear right now at Casper's partnership launch with Ciroc, Casper's there because somebody else had to pass the baton. Somebody else had to be the catalyst for what Casper is right now. And Casper needs to stand back and acknowledge and say, yo, shout out to the OGs, you know what I'm saying? I see you guys, the same way you'd acknowledge your parents. I'm not saying we're the parents, but somebody has to pave the way, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying guys need to stand back now and say, yo, C Live, thank you. No, but I acknowledge my predecessors, and we all need to. You acknowledge me for whatever role I played in your life, and it does go a long way. It really does go a long way. It makes sure that the culture keeps on feeding you when you stand back and you say, you know what, I'm here because of such and such. And I don't mean it every single media opportunity you got to say, yo, man, I'd like to thank my mom and dad, but subconsciously you need to know that you're not there. You didn't just become Casper because you woke up and you were Casper. No, there was Jabba before you. Before him there was Amo. Before him there was Salvin. Before him there was Prophets of the City. Before them there was Ready D. There was Fats, Mr. Fats. There was a lot of other people before them. So it's just a matter of passing the baton and acknowledging.
Look, I really appreciate what you're saying, and I think it's also something very important. I also think it's something difficult because these days you find OGs are backlashing the kids. They're like, y'all are killing the culture. I don't fucks with this new sound. So I mean, that kind of conversation. How can we facilitate healthy conversations between the OGs and the kids? You know, is it a matter of understanding that it's a new era? How can we mediate such a conversation?
A lot of OGs get angry because they don't understand the new age kids, and that happens because they don't pass on the baton properly. There was a point in SA in hip hop where if you came before a generation, you would sit there and be the gods of the culture and say, guys, this is how we do things. This is how, if you're going to be a rapper, you have to go through such and such and such and such and such. This is what we understand. Pass on the culture, pass on the knowledge, And so at some point you don't sit back and now you're surprised when STC came from and you're like, no, these kids don't respect us. STC doesn't know you because you were never there in his growth. You were never there. How's he going to know you? He had to sit at home and learn on his own. And he learned how to pop bottles and not saying that's what he does, but that's his reality. So how's he gonna acknowledge you? And usually it's also because guys, some OGs might be mad. These kids come in and they don't acknowledge us. Sisi Njatina, who the hell are you? It's very selfish. It's very selfish. But sometimes you gotta let the cards lay where they may. It's exactly that.
Does that not create a culture of gatekeepers, like you say? There are people that have to pass on the baton properly. But that also sounds like, gatekeepers, like you must have this, you must, do it like this. Yeah. If you don't go through me, he ain't going through type vibe.
It's not even going through me, If there's one gatekeeper, that's a problem. But if there's a culture and a standard way of doing things, I agree, it does create a bit of a gatekeeping situation. But there needs to be order at some point. Somewhere there needs to be order because you're going to be angry when there's a new age of kids that are doing things that you don't understand, and it's like, but this now is redefining the culture as it were, Hip hop now, people are thinking double cupping is part of the culture. That's not part of no culture. You're double cupping, you're sipping that thing, That has nothing to do with the culture. Culture of hip hop it's got 4 elements to it. What happened to knowledge of self? What happened to knowledge of self? Now we're in the clubs popping bottles. Now it's all about jewelry. Now it's all about the bitches. It's all about the rides. It's always been there. But even Big understood that there was freestyling. You had to spit it. You had to be acknowledged there and there and there. Get your street cred before you were even made. You can't just get up out of your couch because now you know how to rap and now you've made it. Because that's what's happening right now. But where did you come from? Who are you? What Chisanyama do you go to? What Kawash do you go to? We need to know. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
You're dropping bars, man. You're dropping bars. I just want to talk about, your career in music. What's happening there? I mean, you always out here releasing the tracks while you're working on the TV. What's going on there?
Speak about that. It's been very confusing for a lot of people, I'm sure. For me too.
What time is the end of it?
C-Life does hip hop. Next thing you come, yo, what's going on? You and I had that conversation. I'm like, yo, you gotta put my track up for download. You're like, no, but I can understand that. But the reality is, hip hop, we took a lot of the culture from the US, what they're doing, But our reality is that we have Kwaito, we have this Gom thing happening, something that is indigenous to our context, Now, for me, we've tried selling this hip hop thing to the US and to the worldwide, and it's hard because we're really regurgitating exactly what they're giving us, Now, for me, I'm like, okay, what do our people like? Same as what Nigeria did. Nigeria at some point tried for the longest time to sound American. They failed, because the accent was killing them, and it doesn't resonate with the people. Then they came up with what's happening now. Look at Wizkid. That's rap. He's rapping on a lot of his joints, and he just adds an extra element that is indigenous to his people that stuff that his people can understand. Now, for me, I took a Gom joint, I'll put a pizza on it, a pizza who is quiet or who that people understand on the street, and then I put Bar, who's also quiet or but comes from the Big Nas background. He's the first member of Big Nas. And they were rapping, you know. Let's be honest. My Papusa was rapping, Bricks is rapping, you know. Let's not fuck around. They are, you know. And then I put my Raza on it, you know. That is genuinely something brand new, something unique to our country, you know. I'm not gonna feed the rest of the world what exactly what they're giving us. Malum Cool Cat was one of the first guys. Malum Cool Cat told me one of the first guys that were touring Europe. What was Malum Cool Cat touring with? He wasn't touring with yo. He wasn't giving them that. He's still touring to this day. He's going places where most of our big stars have never been. You know what I'm saying? We gotta give people something that is unique to us. And you know, I know we are stuck hip hop. We're stuck on that 16 bars, boom bap, boom bap, boom bap. But yo, we're SA. What are we doing that's uniquely ours? Why must we conform to what has been done and keeps and is still being done? Why can't we do something new? Give the world something brand new, you know? And for me, that's that. Shit, you heard Maraza, he killed that Komcho, that Kologol joint. He just did something else and we were like, yo, you know, Manum Kokat, you know, how do you explain that? But we still take ownership of Manum Kokat. He's ours. Doesn't matter what he does, he's still ours, you know? So we need to embrace and create unique content. Everybody's trapping now. Yeah, it's nice. But we honestly, that does not speak to our people. That does not speak to our people. We need to give people something that speaks to them. Something that a guy in a taxi can understand. Taxi driver will understand my music. You know what I'm saying? Mama Sakai can understand it. People in the hood. This cannot be a niche culture where it's understood in the north, you know? Only in the north. Come on. Everybody needs to get it. Yeah.
Look, a big debate. The internet is taking over. The kids are empowered now. Shout out to Ricky Rick, you know. But is the internet really this big in SA? I mean, we're an online platform, you know, and we've seen the impact of how that direction is going. But you're talking about Umama Sakai, taxi drivers, like real South Africans.
Yeah.
Should artists really focus all their resources and energy on the internet, particularly upcoming artists? You know, let's be real. So you come from a TV, radio background. You also know how the online sphere works out. From your perspective, what kind of advice would you give, you know, especially upcoming artists in terms of the internet versus, you know, other mediums outside of social media, to say?
Yeah. Well, firstly, to the corporates, stop charging us too much for bloody data. It doesn't make sense. We have one of the highest rates of data costs in the world. You know, even more than other less developed countries and countries. Oh, thank you. She's so kind. You see, yeah. How much? You see, how much data does this cost?
$5 million.
Look, and to the up and coming guys, man, you know, you've been doing it. You know, Casper is a very good example. He's a catalyst of blowing up online. You know, that's where it's going. TV is dead. It's dying. You know. The US right now and the rest of the world is almost 20 years ahead of us. And because of our background, we grew up on US being fed US stuff, you know? We are 20 years behind. We are following in the footsteps of the US. What do they do? Look at what they did. Internet did the same thing to them. TV is dying, Joe. TV is now reacting to what the internet is doing, you know? We picked up on Nasty C, who blew up online first, and we picked up on him later. We reacted. We didn't create Nasty C. TV did not create Nasty C. Internet created Nasty C. Internet created Casper and Your Vest, you know. And now us, we book him on TV because, you know. So that's where it's at. Don't ever lose hope. Yeah.
I love that, man. DJ C Live got so much knowledge to give. I'm really proud of this moment. I'm really proud of this conversation. And look, man.
I'm proud of you, man. You know, if there's one person who gives the truth to the art of hip-hop, it's you. You love the culture. And I don't think anybody else should ever say otherwise.
We need to loop this part.
Hip hop is in good hands with you. Hip hop is in good hands with Slick on Live. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you so much, man. DJ C Live. He's now the producer for Club 808. Don't bug him though, But you know what? Don't give up, like he said. This has been real. Let's do it. This toast. We're living the life. We're one arrived.
Broadcast live